Tracy and the Big D here on a Wednesday night, right through till 10 o'clock. Hope you can stick around. Well, as Tracy said, kicked her out of the studio. She's out for a while. It's a man-only time now. And joining me in the studio is Sunny Coast's very own Ryan Giles. Ryan, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Mate, congratulations on the new single. And you're getting a bit of airplay. And I know you do a lot of work around the place. Tell us a little bit tell us the Ryan Giles story.
Well, as it is at the moment, I live up in Noosa with my partner Lauren, and sort of play gigs all from anywhere. Well, play in Maroochydore, Caloundra, pretty much all over the coast, Palmwoods, Beerwah, Noosa, and then a fair bit down in Brisbane as well, sometimes up in Bundaberg, which is where I'm originally from. And I've been sort of travelling around the east coast of Australia doing gigs prior to the last few years. Sort of been all over. Used to go down to Jindabyne in the snowfields and play there. I think I did about 3 or 4 seasons down there as like a resident artist. And
so play music at night and play up through the day. Is that what was that the way?
It was pretty well sleep through
through
the day and play up and play music at night.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm sort of 30 years old now, and I think that time of my life has done and dusted. But I've got a couple children now and everything, and
changes perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, most definitely.
Puts everything right for you.
Yeah.
Growing up, what were the sort of influences for you musically?
A lot of the sort of stuff that my folks had on record. J.J. Cale, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash was something that my parents didn't listen to that, but I sort of started listening to a bit of that later on down the track. Love the Travelling Wilburys, the old supergroup with Jeff Lynne, Bob Dylan, George Harrison, who's the other bloke in it? Roy Orbison, the Big O.
Yep.
Yeah, so Neil Young, all sorts of stuff. I was always into the maybe alt country or like the sort of country blues, I suppose you might call it. Yeah.
I suppose when you hear country music today, you think, gee, that's what I was listening to. You know, the sound now is not different to what you were playing 20 years ago, and it wasn't country, or 15 years ago, and there was no way it was considered country.
Yeah. There's so many different subgenres of country music now, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned there growing up in Bundaberg, and I've seen a couple of YouTube clips around with you and Carl Wachner. Were you schoolmates?
We
were.
And Carl?
Yeah,
we were actually. Carl was a couple of years younger than me, but he lived around the corner from me, and we used to be on the same school bus. We didn't actually really connect with each other. Well, being in different grades, you sort of hang out with your own grade until after school. Then I was doing gigs pretty well straight after school, and even during school, I had a couple bands. And then when Carl finished school, I'd already been out doing a lot of the live gigs around town, and I moved down to Sydney and played there for a while. And when I come home, Carl had sort of hit the scene, and he's just got a great voice, and even from the word go, he was
talent.
Top notch. Yeah.
We're talking with Ryan Giles, now a Sunny Coast local, and finding out about what he's doing now. Interesting enough to what tends to happen in those sort of country towns. I mean, Bundaberg was still a bit of a country town back then.
Yeah.
Is that you guys, if you got a decent band, you tend to do the support act for the bands coming through.
Yep.
Any of the big names you get to play with over the years?
Yeah. Screaming Jets. Super Jesus, Frenzal Rom, but that was sort of in my years when I was into a bit more of the punk rock and that sort of thing, when I was still a teenager.
That's still music, man, isn't it? Doesn't really matter.
It's all good, but sort of my love for music changed when I started listening to more of the roots kind of music and going back to what my parents raised me on, that I didn't think was so cool at the time when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Well, we're going to play the single, and it's the single that we're going to play now is "Sleep Baby Knocks." Yeah. Tell us a little bit about it.
Wrote that song how long ago? Probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. It was I was trying to come up with a bit of a tune for my newborn son, and his name is Lennox, and we call him Knox for short. And Sleep Baby Knox is just a little lullaby for him. Sort of something to help him go to sleep, I suppose.
Well, I'm glad you're sharing it with us. Here's Ryan Giles and Sleep Baby Knox. We'll be back shortly.